Hello, my name's Joshua, and I got another video. We're gonna be using the Bible, but I got it to the left of me, but we're gonna be changing it up. We're gonna be talking about the world is fleeting. Mighty name of the Holy One above all, Yahweh, Jehovah, Yahshua Mashiach. Please give me the strength, the guidance, and your leadership by the Spirit which is only given by your Son's death and resurrection, which is the only way we may be saved. May it fill my heart and my mind and my soul to do all that it is you call me to do. In Yahweh and Jehovah and Yahshua Mashiach's name, it is finished, it is finished. Alright, so we're going to talk about the world is fleeting. Today I spent a lot of time working to save up money to pay my bills, number one. And then the first thing I wanted to do was hop on this game I've been playing a lot. And I played the game for a little bit, and I lost a bunch of times, and I switched to another game, and I lost a bunch of times. But a couple days ago, playing this game, it felt like the only thing I wanted to do was fun, highly competitive, highly enjoyable. But now I'm at the point to where it's just like the enjoyment is fleeting. And then this reminds me of everything else that I've ever tried to put any strict attention or strict focus into. I have this thing where when I like something a lot, I tend to focus on it a lot. And in that, I try to explore and get as deep into it as I can. But anything that I do that I enjoy, after a while, it always ends up being fleeting. The only things that I enjoy truly at all times are the things that he calls me to do. Because everything else grows this mundane, boring, lackluster, just samey type feel. And I think because everything that he doesn't call me to do and everything in this world, everything that we love and chase are things that are dead. And since we chase after dead things, it just brings this feeling of temporal excitement and happiness that cannot be fully and wholly sustained. But when I do stuff like I read my Bible, or I work my gift, or I'm talking to people about the Lord, or like doing stuff that he calls me to do, like going to the gym at times, that always ends up being fun. Like not as exciting at first, but the enjoyment never flees. I feel like two verses come to my head. The first one is, what I mean, what can a man giveth if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? Like, what do you gain if you lose the your soul and gain the whole world? What will you gain? And I think of Solomon saying everything is vanity of vanities, and then there's a way that seemeth right to a man, but the end thereof leads to death. In this world, we all have things that he put on our hearts to enjoy, and things that we put on our own hearts to enjoy, that the world put on our hearts to enjoy, and that we keep there in the place of the things he called us to put there. And after a while, he may even let you try to enjoy it to see what it is, but everything ends up always being fleeting. Everything ends up always being enjoyable, and not enjoyable forever, enjoyable temporarily. And I think the world is set up in such a way to give people and force feed them the idea of a bunch of things, at least where I live, that will give you fulfillment and joy. But me, knowing and being around a lot of things and having a lot of experiences, always learn that every time I put any severe high amounts of focus into anything in this world, even if it's not outwardly demonic, negative, or evil in any way, shape, and form, if it starts taking more time away from what it is he called me to do, then I always end up not feeling it. Always end up losing the excitement, the the drive to chase it, the will to go after it. But whenever it has to do with things with him, they're always never fleeting. They're always enjoyable. They're always like fun. They're always sustaining. They're always, every time he tells me to do something, his presence dwells upon me in a way that always points back to him without idolizing the thing, and making me realize that him with me doing this thing is the best thing that I could have. But anything that he allows me to do that's still in his will, that he doesn't want me to spend as much time into, that he just allows me to, which is not like allowing me to like, yeah, like this is my will for you to do. No, he'd rather will that I spend more time working my gift or doing other things, but he lets me go inside and see the stupidity in the things that I try to put my heart into, so I can understand the fleetingness of this thing. And it's like, I'm out of his will 100%, but he is so smart and so infinitely wise that he understands that if he lets me pay enough attention to something that's stupid, I'll find out that it's a waste of time, and I'll eventually just turn back to him, realizing that everything that I was chasing wasn't necessarily bad. It may even be something that he blessed me with, but it's the amount of time that I spent chasing it that is bad, and that is what causes the fleeting feeling. He desires for all of us to live a life that's balanced, where we're getting rest, we're working, doing his will, and we're enjoying our life. But not enjoying our life without him. You understand? And that's not even like in a bad way. It's just like he knows that our flesh will crave after things that we have no business craving after, and it will cause us to err and go astray and do things that are foolish and waste our time in things that are foolish. But if we just were to rely on his understanding and not on our own, we'll be able to see that focusing on whatever it is he called us to is where we will find our peace, our happiness, our joy, our understanding, and where we will find that resurgence of energy needed to be able to carry on doing a thing. It just took me going through this again to understand that. And he would just say, go ahead, play. Go ahead, play. Play your game. Play your game. And I played, and I played, and I played. And then today I sat down and I'm just like, it's like losing a lot added to it, I would say. But it was more or less just this feeling of, this is not fulfilling. This is just something to do for fun for now, and it's not what I should base my whole entire life around. When I think about the real life things going on and how I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting for whatever it is I'm called to do to start showing forth, I tend to like pick up little things along the way that he may not even rebuke, but it's just like, okay, it's a here for now thing, you know? And he doesn't get mad when I give these things any type of attention, so long as it's not the amount of attention I should be giving to his plans and his will, and I'm giving it to these things. I feel like we all get caught up in the pleasures and the joy in this world, but the joy of the Lord is our strength, and we shouldn't chase after this world. We should be willing to lose our life for his sake. So when he tells us not to do something or to do something, we do that despite the fact that we may not want to. And I'm starting to realize that no matter what, I can never, ever, ever be happy in this world without doing his will at all. And I think I'm just wired in such a way to where anything that is his will, but I take overboard, like let's say I was spending a lot of hours in the gym, spending a lot of hours trying to make sure I was good at marriage, spending a lot of hours getting money. Yeah, things that he desired for me to have, but not that those things be my main desires, that I kept him first and equalize these things according to his will, so that I may be able to make it into whatever it is he called me to at the right time, But I get so hyper focused on one thing at a time, and I look to that one thing and I try to max out its potential. And then once I max out its potential, I feel burnt out on that thing, and I lose the love and the passion that I have for that thing. And then I go back to see, okay, so now what do you want? He was like, no, I wanted you to do that, but why'd you do it for this hours? Why'd you have to go there for, why'd you have to play that game for that many hours? Why'd you have to focus on trying to get married for that many hours? Why didn't you just split up the time that I gave you accordingly in the day to do everything instead of just hyper focusing and fixating on one thing? Because everything in this world, even if it is something that he wills for me to do for his righteousness to be shewed forth, is that when I start giving those things more time than him, it becomes an idol. That idol becomes something that you worship through your actions, even though it's not with your words. And then eventually you'll realize, if you are connected to him, that it's all fleeting and vanity and it all dies. The problem isn't the game. The problem is, okay, you got the game, but why do you got to play the game so much? The problem wasn't the gym. Okay, you got the gym, but you don't got to go to the gym for as many hours as I was. Okay, you got the job, but you got the job and you got the money, but you don't got no sleep. So now, like, and he's just shifting things around to show me that I need to figure out how to prioritize and make time to do everything that he called me to do, while simultaneously staying away from making foolish decisions. And it's just hard, because when I think about what it is we're all called to do in these last days, I end up getting overwhelmed. But I know deep down in my heart that chasing anything that's fleeting and vanity is just gonna make me upset. I know deep down in my heart that he has a will and a way for me, and I know deep down in my heart that he really does see me and care about me. And it's not that he doesn't want me to enjoy my life. It's not that he doesn't want me to enjoy the life that he gave me, rather, and enjoy being a servant first and a slave first and a son at the end. He wants me to be his son, yes, but I have to do what he says, or I'm never ever going to enjoy life. I'm never ever going to feel fulfilled. I'm never ever going to do anything. Like, I've been around people that have had all the money, that have had all the accolades, that have had all the marriage, that have had the children, that have had everything that I want, and I look at them and I ask them, how does it feel? And they all say the same thing. It's samey after a while. It becomes mundane, because everything in this world is a thing that eventually has to die, even us. So chasing after anything in this world that's not spiritual and eternal to fill our souls, and leading by that, and then allowing that to divide up our time and how we decide to move in this world, will always end up hurting us rather than growing us. And I just wanted to express that to you. Like, don't go out of your way to chase these things that are stupid. Don't go out of your way to try to rush to do something, because once you do it, you'll end up seeing that there's really nothing to it. I just want to pray over all of you and over all the believers in the world, that no matter what situation we're in, whether it be a bad one or a good one, that the Lord uses our time wisely and pushes us to do all that it is he called us to do, that we may see him and love him and live with him with all our hearts, and we come into true repentance, understanding that we are deserving of his wrath, but we are only saved by grace and that alone. And let that grace fulfill our hearts and mind and our soul with enough reasoning and purpose to cause us to make a change, is that we say we fully surrender our lives to him as Lord and as Master and as Father. Once we become children, through believing in the only begotten Son's death and resurrection, only as a means that we may even see the Father. In the name of Yahweh and Jehovah and Yahshua Mashiach, it is done and done.